First hooked up with Chaz back in 1999, and thought it was really unique. I liked the everything that was going on, the sound. I liked the music. I liked the metal sound. I really liked vocals. I just liked the music. Well, that was 99, so that's probably I don't know, 12, 13 years. So it's been a long time. The Mark Bleeds Through was a real eye-opening experience. To put everything together, it was really unique, trying to form songs that, you know, that would be nice to listen to for the rest of your life. Or, you know, is this heavy enough? Is this too slow? Or is this, you try to come up with a blend of music that be appealing to listen to, something that you would just put in and listen to it and not throw it away as soon as you got it, you know. It was an eye-opening experience. It was pretty neat. I enjoyed it. The Rise, the Fall, the Rebirth. It's been a long road to get everything on an album, a CD. We started actually writing for this stuff way back in 2000. There was a lot of songs that we worked on and wrote and did not even get put on this CD. And there's some of them that are pretty old that are on the CD, and then there's some that are brand new. And it's like the longest project ever, I think. But hopefully the outcome will be good for everybody and everyone around. Definitely live. Recording is you have to be right on, and then there's a lot of times when you listen to your music after you record, it's like, why didn't I do this or why didn't I do that? And it's too late. It's already on a hard copy, and you can't go back and change it. So when you play live, you meet a lot of people, or you know, you're like, oh, this is fun, you know, because everybody's different, and you have a good time, and hopefully people enjoy it. And then recording is just a whole ball game where you're kind of, you gotta hit the tracks just right, or it's not gonna sound good. And then, like I said, it's always, I wish I could have put this in or that in. And when you play live, you can do that, and you know, so it kind of makes the song sound a little more unique when you play out. So that's what I see happening, hopefully going forward with the music, is that BioGenesis will come up with more even in-your-face, better songs that are like, wow, that's really good, you know. Hopefully we progress and not degress. And my favorite bio memory, there's a lot of great memories. There's some that are you kind of like, well, you don't want to talk about. I guess meeting up with Steve Rowe, picking him up at the airport, traveling all the way to Wisconsin in a Ford Econo van, which was like an 8-seater, and we had 2 bands and an 8-seater, and everybody was a jokester, so it was a lot of fun. We had fun. I don't know about the Texas experience, going down in one van and one band, driving for 28 hours straight just to play for about an hour, hour and a half, but we met Deliverance, so that was a great experience, a lot of fun. Jimmy Brown was awesome, and we had fun. And unfortunately, on the way back, kind of broke down, but it was worth the trip. We have a lot of fun memories. It's been a great experience to work with Darren, because one heck of a guitar player that can just wail and plays leads way better. And I'm glad that he's aboard the band, because that's the only way I would see, looking forward ahead, that we can get anywhere if we did anything. So
I've been at BioGenesis since 2000. The band was already signed. I knew a guy that owned a studio around the Dayton area named Ron Pease. Had worked with him, playing music with him for quite a few years. They were looking for a drummer for the band. I guess the drummer they had at the time wasn't up to par for the record label. And it was pretty weird, because I had just met Ron's brother like a week before somewhere, and told him that I was looking for a band and to keep his eye out. And then here a week goes by, and I get a call from from BioGenesis, and it just seemed like it worked out like it was just kind of a planned thing. That I ran into Ron's brother and ended up telling him that I was looking for a new band, and they were looking for a drummer, and just kind of cool how it worked out. The Mark Bleeds Through was a long process. It's a good album. Production definitely could have been better. There's a lot missing from the Mark Bleeds Through that I think we could have really incorporated had we not been under a time limit and under the scrutiny of somebody that we just working with somebody that was trying to have a little bit of control over the music and the sound, and a few things like that went on, where this album we had a lot more freedom just to do whatever we wanted to do. But the Mark Bleeds Through did bring about a good tour, fun times, built a huge fan base for us, got us on the map. So overall, the whole Mark Bleeds Through album experience was a good one. Well, the rise, the fall, the rebirth, I feel is really like the title says. I mean, we rose, we fell, now we're back again. We've been through a lot as a band. There's been a lot of personal tragedies in the band, things we've been through. But beyond all that, I think that we've come out on top, and we've managed to make a good album, and I think people will like it. I like it. And I guess making music is about making what you like. And you know, people either like what you like and like what you make, or they don't. But I think that this album is a really well-produced album that it's going to get some attention, and I think it's going to do well. Well, of course, the first album was a lot of compiled older material from James and Chaz when they were young, writing, you know, a lot of heavy stuff, a lot more melody, a lot more potential to make more melodic songs in the future, and technical songs rather than just straight heavy. James is a good guy. He's a real good guy. He's got a great, incredible songwriting talent. He writes really good heavy riffs. We wish James the best of luck in everything he does and all his endeavors. And to anybody who wants to talk with James or anything, if you get online or whatever, I'm sure he'll be getting back with people. I know he won't blow anything off. He'll still be around the band, and he'll always be a part of BioGenesis in some way. We'll miss him as a guitarist, and but we have a new guitarist now that he's just going to blow the doors off of BioGenesis. So. Working with Darren Moore is totally different in the sense that it's a much more professional atmosphere, music focused, music driven, ready to write, ready to make some good music, and easy to work with. So that right there alone helps the whole tour with mortification. Just fun times, traveling, being with the dudes every single day, having fun, seeing the countryside, playing a different place every day. Good times. Well, I think I think we're gonna really focus on writing the new material, working on a new album, trying to perfect our sound with Darren, try to make BioGenesis even more than what it's ever been, and promote for the new stuff we got coming up.
It feels really good, you know. I mean, I've always searched for, you know, bands that can really get out there and put a lot of effort in, and who wants to get out there and hit the grind and make themselves known. You know, nothing's easy anymore, and I think you really got to put some effort in, and I think this could be a band that can do that. You know, Bio's been around for quite a while, and it's proven its name, so something I'm really happy to be able to take off where James Riggs has left. I'm a fan of the early stuff and all the way up to the present. That's one of the reasons really what got me excited about joining the band was a lot of the tunes, you know, they were really cool, and I could really feel like maybe it's something that I could have wrote. So I'm really happy to follow into his footsteps, and hopefully can even add a little bit something to that, and you know, take the band that much further. You can expect everything on the next Bio album. I think you'll see, you know, a little bit of everything. You know, it's one thing that Bio is, and I'm kind of probably the same type of writer as, you know, not really getting pigeonholed into necessarily one style. You'll probably, you know, see some heavy stuff, some melodic stuff, you know, some shredding guitar, technical stuff, a little bit of everything, but main thing is hopefully all good songs. I'm digging it, you know. I sat down and when I was given the opportunity and started learning the tunes, and it just seemed like I said one tune, I'd learn one tune and hear the next tune, like, oh, that's cool, you know, and I'd get into the next tune and made me start learning that. I may not even had a call to learn that song, but I went ahead and learned it. And so like I said, that's one thing I'm really excited about. It just seemed really similar to my writing style anyways, and glad to be a part of it. Working with Chaz, you know, as well as all the other members of the band. Of course, Chaz and I has had a history. We've been in different incantations of the band Human Paradox, and actually before some even known, probably dating all the way back to about 2005. So I was always a big fan of Chaz, still am. All of his work from Bios to Jacob's Dream to the stuff he's done with us in Human Paradox. And when the opportunity came up again to work with Chaz, I definitely had to jump at the chance, you know. I'm a fan, and like I said, as well as the rest of the band. So the recording aspect and the live aspect is definitely two different beasts. Definitely enjoy, you know, the playing live aspect, you know. For me personally, you know, I actually like doing a show for my own personal taste, just to see, you know, what kind of night I have. If I have a good night, you know, sometimes I don't have such a good night, but it's always a challenge, always fun, you know, to try to put on the best show possible. I love the energy, you know, love talking with people and the fans, whereas studio, you know, that's great. It's nice after all of your hard work to finally be able to put down the songs that you really worked hard on and put them down in the studio and on the computer now instead of the tape. But it also can get tedious, you know. Usually if there is any problem within the bands, they'll come out then. There's always, you know, the usual disagreements in the mixes and all that, and not to mention, you know, you have to be right on, and any nuances you may have overlooked, they're definitely going to come out in the studio. But also when you get to the end of that, and you get towards the mixing and mastering process at the end, that's also the best feeling in the world. So I also, besides being in a band, really getting my first recognition with the band Legacy, and that was actually kind of a cool thing too, because back in the days when Legacy used to play around, it was kind of funny because many times BioGenesis and Legacy would play back to back, you know, and I never really had gotten a chance to meet Chaz, so it seems like this is kind of really a coming around full circle. But also kind of known for, I also have a instrumental, not an instrumental, I'm sorry, but an instructional DVD from the Chops from Hell website. You can find it at chopsfromhell.com, and it's entitled Building a Shred Arsenal. And it covers a lot of things from string skipping to arpeggios to unique chords. So if you're into that type of stuff, you definitely want to check that out. And definitely be looking forward to adding some of that to the new Bio and stuff on tour.
BioGenesis, you could definitely start a biography by saying "in the beginning ... I mean, it's a very long story for a band with 2 albums. To sum it up, I was in a lot of bands growing up, doing a lot of garage bands, didn't have any notoriety of any kind, was just a local artist, pretty much playing to the wall. Wrote a lot of cool stuff, you know, was dreaming about being known, but never really had a way to do that. You know, living in Dayton, Ohio, you know, we're kind of known for the Wright brothers, but other than that, we're just a dot on the map, and a tiny one at that. So we're not a Los Angeles where we're a hotbed for, you know, people looking to sign bands. So I spent a lot of years in rock bands. I spent time in thrash bands. I even fronted a death metal band at one time, which is where I kind of got the different vocal styles individually over the years. And in the late 90s, I was actually just writing some stuff and recording at home by myself, and a really good friend of mine, Jay Brown, God rest his soul, he passed away in 2005, but in the end of the 90s, you know, I told him, I said, man, you know, sometimes I just don't know what to do. I don't know whether I want to do thrash. When I'm doing thrash and the heavy stuff, I start itching to do a ballad, or I'm itching to sing melodic, or I'm itching to do something more melodic. But whenever I'm in a rock band and I'm doing all the melodic stuff, I'm itching to do something real heavy, you know, and it drives me crazy. I don't know what to do. And he looked at me and he said, you know what, man? He said, why don't you just deliberately take everything, all of that, and just combine it and do it all. like, you know, play a thrash riff but sing in a way they don't expect a thrash song to be, and vice versa. And when he said that to me, I was just like, wow. I never, you know what, I never looked back again. Back then it wasn't popular, it wasn't a popular idea, it wasn't, you know, like, hey, this is flavor of the month, let's jump on it. I mean, this was just completely innovative, and I said, yeah, that's definitely what I want to do, but I got to find the musicians who can do it and can understand the vision. I named the band, was reading a book on the issue of atheism versus creationism, which everybody knows by now I'm real big on, and found the word biogenesis. Life only comes from pre-existing life, and I'm like, that's the name. Had a drummer named Joe Jonker who had been in 4 or 5 of my previous rock bands up to that point, so he was the first one I called. He jumped right on board. We went out, did a little CD called Tunnel Vision, just kind of trying to get an idea. Didn't have any musicians yet. Then as time went on, I started thinking, you know, who has the ability to do what we're thinking about doing, and who would understand that vision. So I called James Riggs. He didn't get it at first. You know, a lot of outsiders might have thought we were crazy for trying to do what we did, but I'm really proud of it, and I think it really worked out. And as time went on, James, myself, and Joe Jonker wrote some pretty cool songs, and it got us a record deal with Row Productions from Australia. And we were fortunate to come across an ad in a music store for a bass player that said Randy Walton, and we got a hold of the guy. He came out, and you know, it was great. I mean, he fit right in, and we were really happy to have him. And before you know it, we had to make a change at drummer. So we ended up getting a hold of Nevin Klein, and the Mark Bleeds Through was made. And actually we had to record that album twice. I don't know how many people are aware of that. Wow, the recording experience of the Mark Bleeds Through was very interesting. I know it's a kind of a famous story among the fans nowadays, so I'll kind of explain it here face to camera, so to speak. The experience with that album, the second time around, the actual recording of that record that actually got released, I wasn't around and Nevin wasn't around. We actually stayed in a hotel nearby, and we had always played in a tuning, in a slightly higher tuning, and so my voice was singing in that key throughout for months and months, even longer than that. And James wanted the album to sound heavier because he's, you know, listens to a lot of heavier, more death metal stuff, and so he took it upon himself while tracking in the studio. He actually took a Cannibal Corpse CD, a band from Metal Blade Records, and he listened to the CD and he tuned down to what they were, which was much lower than what we were normally playing. So he recorded the entire album that way, and I wasn't even aware of it until it was time for me to do vocals, because like I said, I wasn't present when they were recorded. And I'll never forget it, the first song we were tracking was Legal Murder, and I remember coming in and just kind of doing that opening line, you know, legal murder, and everybody, you know, the studio guy stopped the tape and he's like, yeah, man, you're way out of key. And I said, what are you talking about? I've sang the song a million times, you know, I know what I'm doing. And we went again, I sang the line, same thing. He says, you're out of key, you got to come in here and listen to this. So I'm listening, and that's when I realized what I had to do. There were songs like Inner Child, you know, especially the ballads, where, you know, I was forced to, whoa, you know, sing in a much lower way, and was not the original intention. So that's what happened there. The tour was awesome. You know, all that was great. In spite of all those issues, this was the way people heard us, and this is what people thought we were and what we were trying to be, and they thought we were trying to be like a Savior Machine kind of metal. That wasn't really the intention. The intention was to combine thrash, power metal, melodic metal, heavy metal, old school, new school, modern, classic, all that. Combine the best of everything that is metal into one band, and that was the actual intention. And I think we hear a little bit more of that with the Rise, the Fall, the Rebirth. After the Mark Bleeds Through, we went on the tour. There was a huge buzz going on about the band, which was really awesome. It seemed like we were headed up, you know, like the sky might be the limit. You know, we really didn't know what we were capable of. We were very, very grateful to Rowe Productions. We were very grateful to especially Steve Rowe, a great guy. I mean, you're not going to find a better guy on this planet than Steve Rowe, I can tell you that. And to this day, we're very thankful for him signing us and giving us a chance to get out of the garage, so to speak, and step into the light and be heard and develop a little bit of a fan base. But during that time, you know, we had some voices in our ear coming from different places saying, "Oh, you know, you guys can be so much bigger. You guys got the talent. You guys should expand your horizons. You know, we can get you on a bigger label. We can do this. We can do that. We can get you in the stores." And you know, we were like, "Wow, you know." We were young and we were wanting to hear that. You know, we were really wanting to grasp onto that and try to climb as high as we could. And we did get involved with Jimmy Brown from Deliverance, somebody I'm very proud to know and good friend of mine. Grew up listening to him. He's an influence on my vocals, no doubt about it. But he was actually trying to help us get onto a label. And make a long story short, that kind of fell through over time. So here we were without Rowe Productions and without this new label that we thought we were going to sign on to. And then we started to go through member changes. We wrote some really heavy stuff, really good stuff for that. But just every single time we would go to record it, something would happen. It just seemed like there were outside forces just constantly trying to prevent BioGenesis from doing a sophomore album. And I know that might sound a little cliche or that might sound goofy, but that's really what it seemed like. Even when we fast forward to the present, to 2009 when we came out, you know, we signed with Retroactive Records, and it seemed like, okay, this is cool. We got a way to record an album finally, and all these years later we're going to do this. And then, you know, things fell through with Retroactive Records. But you know, thank God for Soundmass. Thank God for Adam of Soundmass. We're very grateful to him for giving us another chance, even after all that. And because of them, this album has been able to get to you. Very proud of it. Just looking back on the history, I'm not going to talk about the band breaking up in 2005. There's no need to look back on all of that. But there was a time when I thought that Bio's time was over and that we would never see Bio again. But as years went on, I just felt like, honestly, there was so much left undone. I was in a great band called Human Paradox with Darren Moore, as you know, and you know, obviously been very busy with Jacob's Dream, which is also a great band. But you know what? It's time. It's time, and I'm really happy that we're able to bring that before you now.